Hey, what's up, YouTube? Jimmy Walker here again. So, last time we left off, we were modeling the revolver Red Hawk Ruger. This is actually going to be part 3 of the video, so let's go ahead and jump right on into it. I already have mine open. I'm going to go ahead and pull the file up. Today, we're just going to be finishing up on the body, trying to make this look a little bit more cleaner, and then after that, we're going to start working on UV texture mapping. So, where we left off yesterday, now this actually doesn't look half bad, but it's not really accurate to what the real gun looks like. So the first thing we're going to need to do is actually go up here and select these vertices, and I'm going to scale those in. I'm sure some of y'all have already done that, and you're probably like, yeah dude, come on man, get with the program. And to those who have already done that, I take my hat off to you. Congratulations. So I'm going to scale these in probably right about here. Now, one thing to remember is that this right here, yeah, it kind of meets up with the cylinder, so I'm just going to try and line these vertices up with where the cylinder is right here. In fact, just make sure I can get an accurate representation. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick smooth on that. So, yeah, that does select all the way through. Okay, so then I'll just scale this in right about here. I'll do the same thing. Scale that in right about there, and let's see, let me go in here real quick. Now this one down here is going to be kind of funky, and the reason why, because I never actually created its own vertice, and so we're going to have some interesting issues with it, but overall it won't be that bad. So I'm going to go ahead and create an edge loop down here, like so. Let's go and see what it looks like. Yeah, it doesn't look half bad. I need to create an edge loop underneath right about here, so now we have that. If we go into the side view, it doesn't look half bad. I'm going to go ahead and create an edge loop right here in the middle, and this way I can grab these vertices and just move these back just a hair, like so. And this will give it more of a curve. Alright, so we have a sharp edge down here that I did not see last night, so once again I'm just going to create an edge loop right here. I'm not too worried about the rest of it, but I am going to deselect these, and I'll delete the rest of this edge. I did not mean to do that. So let's go ahead and delete that edge, and then right here we'll do the cut face. Close the vertice right there. Do the same thing on this side. And right there. So now when I hit the smooth, that looks a lot better. So one thing you're probably noticing right now, and you're probably like, dude, Jim, you screwed up. Yeah, I would agree with you. This actually has a sharp edge on it, whereas this right here is nice and smooth. Now on the gun picture back here, it has more of a profile like this, so the easiest thing to do, I'm just going to grab this edge right here. I'm just going to, I also need to grab this edge as well. My bad. I'm just going to scale that up just a little bit. And then to fix this issue right here, you go back into 1. And this is why it's doing this, because of this right here. So once I've done that, okay, I see. It's going to be difficult to grab. Let me just do it this way. Oh, come on. See? Lovely Maya problems. Alright, so I'm going to grab these, make sure I don't have any others selected, and I don't. Then once I've done that, I'm actually going to scale these out, and then these vertices right here, I'm going to scale them forward just a little bit. So now when we look at a smooth preview, this is definitely getting closer. Oops, that's not what I want. So a lot of times working with Maya, these are little things that you're going to deal with, and it's going to drive you crazy. But if you can get them down, I mean, the end result is just so much cleaner, and it's, in my opinion, well worth it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there are 4 faces, which is good. And that's getting cleaner. And then last thing I'll need to do, the reason why we have that hump is because of this this edge right here. So now because I moved that forward, as you can see, that looks a lot better. Now I could manipulate that a little bit more and make it even more cleaner. Like this part right here, I am going to do that. Basically, I'm just going to move this down just a little bit, probably right about there. And I mean, you can tweak this and work with it a little bit more, and you can make it look a lot nicer. I'm just doing this for tutorial purposes to give you an idea on what to do. Oh, hey, look at that interesting error. So let's find out why we're getting that. And that would be the reason. So because this is one loop or one edge, that's why we're having this problem. Boy, I have been coughing a lot here lately. Sorry if you're wearing earphones and you just caught an earful of cough. It is my bad. So basically, I just click on these corners, and this will actually cut all the way through. And the purpose of that is now we have two edges, so when I smooth it, we don't have this penis-looking shape anymore. So that actually doesn't look half bad. I'm going to roll with it. Alright, so the next thing I need to do, this actually has a sharp contour that comes up. I'm actually going to, I guess you'd say, kind of match that. So I'm going to select these, and then I need to select all of these vertices that run across here. So I'll select those, and then I'll select these. Maybe not those, but either way. Let's see, let's go ahead and scale this in. Scale in just a little bit more. So that way this is fairly flat, and that looks pretty flat. And then I'm going to grab this loop. I'm going to pull this up just a little bit, and I'll scale in just a hair more. And then this one down here, I'm going to do the same. Probably right about there. And then this one, I'm going to bring it up. And there is reasoning for me doing this. The reasoning behind, because I'm still trying to keep the contour of this around the wheel cylinder area, but also when I smooth it, I want this to be nice and round. And that actually doesn't look half bad. Now, in the picture, you can see where it's kind of flat up here. In order to fix that, I'm just going to grab my edge loop, and I'm going to bring it right down here, a nice tight profile. And there you go. So then the last thing I need to do is create an edge loop here at the front. Right about there. And I do the same thing over here. Right about there. And then, just like we did on the bottom, we're going to fix this little wannabe penis shape, which is going to be the same thing, or not. How many edges do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, and just 4. Okay. So, is what we're going to do, we'll actually start from, let's see, it's going to be this edge right here. Now, this one is actually interesting because there's only one vertex here. And looky there. So that's actually really interesting. Easiest thing to do with this is, see how this one only has 2 vertices? This one has, let's see, 1, 2, and 3 edges for the corner, and this one only has 2. So what we need to do is we need to figure out what's going on with this edge. Looks like just a free edge, maybe. So let's go ahead and just delete that, because not really needed. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it for that. So now we need to select this edge right here. We're going to... Oh, now, isn't that interesting? Okay, so if you recall earlier, I said sometimes you run into these weird Maya issues. This is one of those issues. So I'm going to pull this out. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I actually want to delete these faces just because they're going to be very, very problematic. And for these faces where there's this huge gap, I'm actually going to go into the Poly Admin tool. If you just recently started up Maya and you're watching this tutorial, you won't have this on your shelf. So you're going to go up to, I believe it's Edit Mesh, and, is it Mesh? It's one of these two, or mesh tools. Yeah, append to polygon. So under mesh tools, it's append to polygon, and all you have to do is just hold down Control Shift and click on it, and then it'll put it to the shelf up here. In fact, I'll show you that real quick. So I'm going to go to mesh tools. I'm going to hold down Control Shift, click on it, and as you can see, it popped up right there. So I'm going to delete that toolkit because I already have mine up here. Sometimes you can see these arrows. These arrows will tell you which way you need to go, or you can see the dot and just basically follow the dot, like so. And all you're doing is just clicking where the hole is. The other way you can do this, I could bridge it across just on the faces, and then close up the rest of the hole. And if I was going to do that, I'd basically just click on this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. The reason why I'm not doing that, because some of these edges are real tight, and I mean, sometimes you can run into even weirder issues, so I'm just trying to do it with the append poly for that reason. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. This is just the way I prefer to skin the poor little kitty. So, got that, and then we'll do this last one down here, like so. We'll hit 3. Let's see, I'm going to turn off, okay, so now we have another one down here that's doing the same thing. Oh, that's why, because we still have a hole. So for this last hole, wait a minute. Ah, looky there. I did not see that before. So I'm going to delete that edge. I'm going to just select the hole itself, and then I'm just going to click on fill hole. Now this one is located under mesh. It's under mesh, and right down here underneath conform, it's just fill hole, and that's all that button is. So there we go, nice and smooth. I'm not really worried about that little bit of, you know, I guess you'd say deformation or whatever. So now we can come back up here and we can keep working on this. Now this kind of curves in a little bit. You could simply, you know, you could very easily just take this edge loop and bring it up. I'll actually click on these, and then I'll deselect those. Bring that up just a little bit more. And then, you know, same thing, just bring it forward if you wanted to. But then when you unsmooth it, you get this weird shape, which is why I don't like doing that. So anyways, back to the actual lesson. So we're going to cut on the cut faces tool. We're going to click on right here on this corner, and then we're going to click right here on this corner and press enter. And then after that, we will select all of these edges like so, and we'll just move them forward. So now when we smooth it, as you can see, now this is flat and it has that that shape I'm looking for. And that actually doesn't look half bad. Now you could do more work and kind of fix this little issue right here. I'm going to leave that completely up to you. I'm not going to go through that process because it's pretty much the same thing that we've been dealing with on the front up here and things like that. Same thing with this little part that's kind of protruding out a little bit. If you want to fix that, you're more than welcome to. It's not something you'd really see in a video game, but if you're trying to be as professional as possible with this, by all means, definitely work on it. But generally in a video game, this is like the most you're going to see is this, and then it'll go pow, pow, or whatever. But anyways, so once we got the gun modeled, let's go ahead and select everything. We're going to press 1 on the keyboard. So this way, if there's anything that was smooth, like the wheel cylinder here, that had a 3. So when I say 3, I mean, you know, smooth like that versus unsmooth like this, where it just looks like a box. So anyway, select everything, press 1, and then you'll smooth the polygons. And so right here, you can see that the triangles is 13,076. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the video, I said I want it less than 7,000. Like 7,000 was the absolute max. Anything higher than that, it's just absurdly ridiculous. So now we get into the part of cleaning everything up. Oh, those are combined. So basically anywhere here, I'll just go ahead and delete these real quick and I'll explain on something like this. So if I go into the side view, you can see that this is straight. these literally just have these extra lines like this. Like they really have no purpose in life except for just to piss you off. So we're actually going to select all of these lines that are just here pissing you off, taking up precious memory in a video game, and we're just going to select every single one. If they're straight up and down and there are no curves to them, then we can select them to be able to get ready to delete them. Now this one, you can see like each one of these actually slightly curves. In cases like this, what I'll do is I'll select every other line like that. And the reason why, because those little subtle details, you're not going to see those whenever you're playing a game. It's like this right here, this is fairly straight, so I can also select this one and no big deal. So once you have all those selected, all the lines that you don't need, I'll show you in this view. So right now we have, let's see, with all these that are selected, it is 3,584 triangles. We will delete them. Now we just went down to 2452. So there is actually a significant amount of resolution there. And it's the same thing on these that we did earlier in the lesson. You're just going to select the middle one. The reason why, because like these three and these three up here, those actually have a curve to them. And so that's why I'm just selecting the middle one right here. And that should be more than sufficient. Now this one, we can select these two because there are multiple. There are multiple lines here, and so this isn't going to mess with anything. In fact, we can also select this one and be okay. And which is why I'm selecting extras right there and not anywhere else. So we'll do the same thing right here. 1, 2. Let's see, does that curve down? No, it does not. So we can select all three of those. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll just delete those. And so now you can see we're down to 2088, which is a significant difference. For this, we'll do the same thing. We'll select these three in the middle, and we'll delete those. This one, all these have curves. You can delete some of those if you want. Personal preference, I am, because, I like... Oh, selected the wrong one. I'm going to leave this one in the middle. I want to make sure that one is in the middle at all times. So I'm just going to select these three over here, select these three over here. And the reason why I want this one in the middle, because the middle is the highest point of the curve. So we'll do it that way. Let's see. Select these. Select those. Talk to myself some more so my dogs look at me like I'm crazy. And we'll do the same thing. We'll delete those. I'm just waiting for one of these days. I'm doing one of these tutorials for y'all. My wife walks in like, who are you talking to? I'm just like, YouTube. Who are you talking to? She's like, you need help. And I'll be like, yeah, I know I do. Alright, so you kind of get the gist of what I'm doing already. Basically, I'm just seeing if anything has a curve to it, a major curve. Like this has a curve, so I'm not going to touch that because this one I can get rid of. But this is going to have a curve that follows that, so I'm not going to mess with these two up here or anything here. Well, I might be able to mess with something in the middle. Yeah, I can actually mess with this one. That one can go away. It can go away and die. And I'm going to do this one. Now the back part, I'm going to do that separately. And I'm going to select just these two so that way it still has a contour that it can follow. And for the most part, I'm going to leave these here in the middle. I'm going to leave those alone. Then I'll go into a little bit more depth here in just a minute. We can probably actually... Do I want to do that? Yeah, we can actually get rid of this middle one. That middle one's not really doing anything for us, but just taking up valuable memory. So, we have all those selected. We're at 3712. We'll go ahead and hit the delete. Now we're down to 2870. Yeah, if Jimmie can talk, I know, right? Alright, now these, you can delete some of these. So far we're down to 10,000, and we haven't even done the handle yet, which I'm going to start on the handle now. So the handle, a lot of the detail is going to be up here. So lowest amount of details down here, and these are going to be the main ones I'm going to focus on. We'll go ahead and delete those. And you can have one that's a little squared. It's just up here you have to be kind of careful. So this one I'm going to select every other one. I'm actually going to leave these two. I'm going to leave those alone, but I will select this one and go ahead and delete that one. So this way it still has a decent contour. Let's see, these look like they're pretty well rounded, so I don't really want to mess with those. And finally we've got the trigger. The trigger, we don't need much detail in it at all. And the reason why, because, you know, player's fingers usually covering it. So we'll go ahead and delete that. And I'm actually going to move these in just a little bit. Now you can manipulate some of these other vertices, just kind of move them around to get a better contour, but I'm not really going to worry about that because once again, the player's finger will be covering that. So then this is going to be the last part. This is the fun part. Oh wait, that was the one I wanted. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one. Yeah, this does follow, it does have like a slight edge to it, but I'm not really worried about that because once again, it's not going to be like detail that's going to make or break you. So that's why I'm deleting that edge. And I'm just kind of looking around. Let's see, we're down to 95 so far, which is still more than I want. Oh wait, I haven't even done the barrel. I know it's not going to make much of a difference, but you know, hey, come on, you just humor me. Alright, so have this edge. Got something funky going on here. I don't know what is going on. Oh, that's right, that's the inside of the barrel. I never created an edge loop, which is why it's doing that. And we'll fix that here in a minute. The barrel, I'm actually going to delete these right here because we still have a little bit of a contour right here, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. Yeah, I think that'll work. So, I mean, even with that, it still looks decent. It's not like, you know, anything that's real bad. So, one little thing you can do, and this is a little trick I like to kind of, I guess you say, exploit, is go every two. It's either 2 or 3, I can't remember which it is. Yeah, it's going to be 3. So we'll go every 3. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to scale those in like so. Scale those down like so. And then on these, we're going to select every third edge. Then we'll click on the rotate tool. Rotate these around like so. And then we're going to select the other side. And we'll rotate those around like so. So now you have these, you'll have these right here that you can just grab and you can go back. Don't ask me what accent that was, I don't know. And some of you are probably like, yeah, well, I don't really care. And I would agree with you. Alright, so the purpose of doing that is now I can grab these right here and deselect these. And I have no idea why I just hit the space bar. And so now I can actually rotate these around. So now when you look down the barrel, you actually have this rotating look. Now I know some of you gun guys are probably like, well, hey, but, you know, the things that the barrel bullets slide on, they're not that wide. Yeah, I know they're not. That's why we're grabbing these right here. And just like before, we will actually grab the rotate tool, and now we're going to move these over about like that. And so now you have this, you actually have this decent look to it. Now, I don't know if you're going to have a game artist on your team or not. A lot of, not a game artist, I'm sorry. A UV texture artist. So a lot of times the UV texture artists, whenever they create a material inside of Unity or the Unreal Engine, I know right now you're getting these weird, like, soft edge look thing going on here. Whenever you actually apply a material to that, it's not going to really have that absolute look to it. So, nothing to worry about there. Alright, so now I'm just going to come back in here. We got to flat edge right here, and we got one right here that I can get rid of. We can get rid of that one. Yeah, we're back doing this again. Yay. Let's see, that follows the contour there, so I don't want to get rid of this one down here, but I can get rid of this one. And that follows that up there, so I think I can get rid of that. I'm actually going to deselect this right here. I don't know if I actually got that evenly or not. I don't want to take a chance that I did not. So I'm going to select down here, and I'm going to deselect that up there. So right here is where we need to be looking. Let's go ahead and delete these edges, and I'm going to grab the cut face tool. I'm going to create one there, and I will create one here. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So one here, and we'll grab one here. Now, at the beginning of this tutorial, if you remember, I created like this real primitive looking shape inside the handle, and this is where I get to have some fun. No, I do not, because there is nothing, but that is okay, because I can actually grab these right here, and the key behind this is make sure they're not sticking out. So I grabbed this one purposely, and I'll show you why. So these are sticking out, and this one's sticking out. So we can't have that right there. We can't have this right here. That is still on. There we go. So we're just going to kind of look around, and yeah, I don't really see any faces that are highlighted. I'm just going to hit delete. So finally, we got one last thing, the hammer. Oh, I'm actually going to exceed the amount I wanted, but that's okay. We'll still continue on the cleanup and go from there. So I'm just going to go ahead and smooth this out real quick. Edge. Yeah, I get to have a lot of fun right here. And we'll grab this one, we'll grab that one. Nobody cares about this one, so those can go away. We're going to face, exact same thing. We're going to, well, no, this isn't actually going to be the exact same thing because my pivot's going to be right about here. So I'm just going to delete these faces right here. As you can see, you cannot see them, so those can go away. We'll grab right here, and we're also going to grab these two, just because those are extra resolution that's not really needed. So we got that one. I can grab this one. There we go. Let's go ahead and delete those. Isn't that hammer just beautiful? Don't judge me. Okay, so now we can go in here. We can delete this one right here that's running down the middle. And then the next thing, come on YouTube, help me out. Find me more edges I can get rid of. Okay, so we can get rid of these. Thank you, YouTube. You are very helpful. Let's see, I'm going to grab this one right here. I know earlier I said I wouldn't, but yay. Delete that. So I don't have to worry about doing anything down here because this is still 4 edges. So I'm not really worried about that. The nice thing about converting into Unity or Unreal, or at least Unreal up to my knowledge, I could be wrong, just post a comment in the thing and let me know if you work with Unreal. But I'm pretty sure that Unreal will make all the faces into triangles for you. So that's why I'm not too terribly concerned. Alright, so still kind of high on the triangle count. It's almost, I mean, it's a little over 9,000. To me, it's kind of close. But I'm going to go in here. I'm going to actually select the ones that come here in the middle. Actually, do I want to do that? Probably not. I'm going to select every other one right here on the indentions of this cylinder. And, okay, good. And the reason why I am, because once again, this one has an outer profile curve. Let's go and see what it looks like real quick. Can I live with that? Can you live with that? I don't know if I can live with that. That actually kind of looked like crap. And if you agree with me, good job. So, I guess technically I could delete those. I could just select these right here too. And that would probably be a better option, just to kind of lower the resolution a little bit. Round and round we go. Where are we stopping? Nobody knows. Oh wow, we are way under. Okay, there we go. delete those. Yeah, so that actually looks a lot better. Let's see, I wish I could delete this edge right here, but that would be a very, very bad idea. Can I select that one? No, I cannot, so I'm just going to go through here. Oh, that's why it's a completely different edge. No, it's not. Yes, it is. That is a completely different edge. Maya has no idea what edge that is. Okay, but that's okay. Oh, kind of lost my train of thought. Okay, so back to modeling the gun. Let's see. I'm sure there are some other areas. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some of these. I didn't want to because we're going to lose some of the detail around this, but that is okay. And once again, I'm just selecting every other one. So I don't think I'm going to hit the amount that I wanted, which was around 7,000, but I know I'm going to. It's already under 8,000, so I mean that's already making me a little happier. Alright, so yeah, I think we're going to have to live with that. There are some other areas, like I can probably actually go in here. I don't know why I didn't think about this. Or have I already done this? I think I've already done this. Let's find out. Some of y'all are probably like, oh, come on, Jimmie, you've already done that. And, yep, I have. So, yay. Okay, so then the next thing, let's see if I can delete any more edges anywhere else. And guess what? I cannot. So, YouTube, we now have a fully modeled gun at 8,578 triangles. So, let's go ahead and start working on the texture map. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And let me check one more thing. See? I totally missed it. If I would have missed that, y'all would never have let me live that down. Which I'm okay with this. Okay. So, I'm going to roll with it. I am going to roll with it. So let me go ahead and save this after I've done that. 8,514, that's not too bad. Okay, so in the Photoshop, I have not even told you which images we're using. In the ones you downloaded earlier, we have 5524-R, which is this one right here. If you remember in the part 1, I told you that this is a really good one because of how much you can zoom in and the fact that you don't really lose any resolution in it. So we're using this one for the side of the gun. I believe that would be the right side. I don't know, I'm getting kind of tired. Like you can see down here, it's almost 2 a.m. So then other people are like, well, why are you still up? No, because I just got off work. Okay, so the other one we're going to use, once again, you can zoom way in and you lose absolutely no detail. So this is IMG_7545, which is this one right here. Now, some of y'all probably wonder why I'm not using this one, and I'm glad you're asking why I'm not using this one, because this is actually the one I want to use. But here's a problem I run into. When I zoom in, you can already see it's getting pixelated. I'm like, you can't really even read that. I'm like, what's this even say? Supper? So, I mean, yeah, that's why I'm not using that one, just because it's pixelated and it looks like crap. So, for any texture map that I do, we actually need to look at the file size. I know it's like ridiculously sized. And this one does not say it. This one is 5,214 by 2726. That is a ridiculous size. So we're going to go down here into image. We're going to go to image size. And we need this to be way larger. So I'm actually going to make this 7,800 by, I don't know, 7,500. I do not know why I just did that. We don't need to go to image size, we need to go to canvas size. So we're going to make this, let's see, 16.2, which would be 32.4, and if you add another 16, that should be 48.6. And then we multiply this one by 3, which would be 30, and 3 into 8, which would be 24. That would be 32.4. autism rules. Okay, so now we got this, and we're going to just click on fit on screen. And I'm going to unlock the background. The reason why I'm unlocking the background, because I was actually going to move it, but then I realized that we'd have this blank area, and I really don't feel like messing with that. Okay, so we got that, and then I'm going to select all this, Control C, come over here, Control V, and now we got this in here. Now some of you are probably watching this like, dude, that area is way too big. Yeah, I know it is, but you know, hey, desperate times call for desperate measures. Don't judge me. Okay, so this handle right here is kind of gray, and this one's actually black. I kind of like the black look a little bit better. The only thing is with the black is we have this weird thumb indentation, which I'm going to show you how to get rid of that. That's not going to be an issue. So for now, I'm going to select layer 1, and then I'm going to select this section, Control C, Control V. I'm going to move this down here, actually move this layer up right here, and that way it'll protrude through. We'll go to Edit, Transform, want to flip it horizontal. There we go, look how beautiful that looks. I mean, already you can't even tell. You actually just think it's part of that gun because it just looks so beautiful with Photoshop magic. Alright, so after you get that kind of where you want it, you'll go back up here to Edit. We'll go to Transform. We're going to go to Scale. So I'm just kind of manipulating these around here about like that. And the whole purpose of this is me just trying to kind of get some of these blah. I want to move this back. Yeah, so that, I know this bottom part down here lines up, but I can't really, there we go. So I'm just going to line it up right about here. I'm going to do right. See, this is what tears me apart. I mean, crap like this. It's like, why is that even like that? Seriously. So I'm actually going to move it right about here. And then I'm actually going to move the opacity up. I'm going to duplicate this layer. Okay. I'm going to hide that other one. And then right here, I'm going to move this back. I'm thinking right about here. Now, the reason for this is I need to crank up. My dog just sneezed, and it sounded like a ghost fart. Okay, so as I was saying, the reason why I have two of these, basically I'm just going to use half of this right here. I'm going to blend it together. So this is the back part of it, which tells me this part contours to the front. Magic eraser. And there we go. Why is it so small? That's what she said. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So now I'm just going to kind of like erase all of this extra unneeded crap. Here we go. Let's see. So this one I actually want to keep the screw. Have to keep the screw. Well, I guess I don't have to. Yeah, screw can go away. We'll keep that so this way it has a little bit cleaner look to it. Okay, this one follows the front, so I'm just going to. I'm actually only going to get rid of about. I'm only going to get rid of it about to here. And you can make this a lot more clean, but I'm sure there's some people that are watching this. It's like, this dude sucks. I'm going to stop the video because he takes too long explaining this crap. And it's those people. Man. It's those people is why I'm actually just trying to hurry along with this, because I'm one of those guys that I'll watch a tutorial and someone will just kind of like sit on their butt like, alright, this is a thingamabopper and we're going to talk about why you shouldn't stick it up your behind. So that's all I'm doing. And right now I'm just kind of filling the time while I'm trying to erase this edge. Okay, there we go. That actually does not look half bad. So, let's see. There we go. So, now what we need to do is, Wow, that wood texture actually blends really nicely. Let's see. So yeah, we need we need this layer right here. I'm going to show you how I do this in Photoshop. So I'm just kind of hanging down here on the bottom corner. That can go away. That can go away. And as you can see, it's already starting to look like really good. There we go. And for the wood texture, now I just have to find out where this line contours. Okay, so I want this to follow this, and I'm going to show you how I do that here in just a second. There we go. So now you can see how... Did not want that last one. So now you can see how clean this looks already. Let me go ahead and just kind of erase some of this up here. And you're like, great, he's going at it again. Yes, I am. When you're screwing up like I am right now, there we go. When you're modeling something, yeah, for tutorial purpose, I could just kind of like, you know, scream through this and make it look half-assed. But then there's going to be other people that are like, well, that doesn't look anything like some of the other things you've done. And that's why I'm trying to take my time on some of this. Not all of it, but some of it. Let's see. Nope, still need my eraser tool because I need to get rid of this, which is actually just regular layer 3. Okay, this is taking way too long. I mean, like, I'm going to die of boredom if I keep doing this crap. There we go. And then we'll go to layer 3 copy. There we go. And then we'll go right here. I'm actually going to merge these now. And so now we have to zoom way in. So I'm going to take just this little section right here. Or actually, I'm going to start with this because this is like perfect. I'm actually going to grab it right about here. Control CV. I'm going to move it down here. Edit. And we're going to flip it horizontal. And I actually need to crank the opacity on so that way I can see through it. And we'll go down here to edit, transform. We're going to go to rotate this time. And so now all I'm going to do is just try to rotate this where it just kind of matches. It doesn't have to be exact. It just has to kind of match up here. So I'm going to say right about there. Now, of course, we've got this bottom part, which is where the lovely distort comes in. Is it distort or skew? Pretty sure we can do it with distort. And we can. So now we'll crank up the opacity. And you're all like, wow, Jimmy, that looks like crap. Yeah, we're not done yet. Just give me 1 second, or actually just give me like, I don't know, another 60 minutes, whatever. So I'm just going to come in here and just start smoothing this out, like so. If you're wondering how I'm doing this, I'm actually rapid clicking on the mouse, gamer skills. So I'm just going to, I'm actually just real lightly going through here like this until this just has a nice blend to it. And then right here, I'm just doing the same thing. As I'm moving up, I'm holding down the mouse, and I'm just going back and forth. When I get to these corners like this, I do my wonderful rapid clicking. No, screwed up. So I'm going to leave that area alone and just try to blend this down here. So that's all I'm doing right here. And as you can see now, that doesn't look half bad. Now we still got this little area. All I'm going to do is just grab this small little section, Control CV, and I'm going to move it probably right about here. Edit. We'll go down to transform, rotate, and blah. Like so. Like a glove. Oh, have to hit enter first, duh. So move layer 4 up there. I'm going to grab the eraser tool and just on layer 4, I'm going to just get this to blend in. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And 1, 2, 3. There we go. And get rid of that. Awesome. And so, yeah, you can see it whenever you're zoomed way in, but if you fit it on the screen, you're not really going to be able to tell. You'll be able to tell something's a little off, but for a video game, it's not something that someone's going to be like zooming way in like this and being like, hey, that doesn't look right. So the next thing I told you that we need to get rid of this little thumb indentation. That's actually really easy to do. So I'm just going to select all these. I'm going to merge the layers. And then, just like before, I'm going to grab this little section. Control C, Control V. And I'm just going to start moving it like sure. And right now I'm just hitting V constantly. I have no idea why I just did that. Down here I'm just going to place it right about here. And right here. Right here. It'd be so cool if we had like some just do it kind of music, you know, like, I don't know, something like Elven dubstep. If that's even a thing. I don't even know if that is a thing. It's a thing right now. Okay, so now we got all that. Actually, that does not look half bad. I think I'm going to roll with that. So then we have this upper section, which is the same thing as before. And I'm just going to something. I'm going to take this and Control CV. And I'm just going to start placing this in different areas. Like so. Now we do have this little brown area, and we'll go back over all of this later on. And y'all are probably like, oh great, he's going to spend another hour and a half talking about things that you shouldn't do. And yeah, you're probably right. I probably will. Just because, lol. Okay. So I'm going to stop that right there because that's just starting to get way too tedious. I'm going to click on this one and eraser tool. And click on this one, eraser tool. Guess what? Click on this one, same thing. Same thing. Same thing. I'm sure there's like some kind of special feature that Photoshop has where it's like it just automatically knows what layers. If there is that feature, I don't know about it. I'm not like this Photoshop guru. There's a few people I know. In fact, my sister, she knows how to work Photoshop like there's no tomorrow. I, however, only know the basic, I guess, steps to take for making texture maps. I'm not this super special guru or anything like that. I'm actually completely self-taught. So, yeah, that's my extent with Photoshop. It's, you know, it's not bad. It's very nice. It's very nice. Okay. So now that I've done that, I moved that way up too much. I mean, yeah, you got some of this pixelation, but if you go to fit on screen, I mean, it really doesn't look all that bad until you get zoomed in right about here. And I'll end up fixing that even more later on. Let me go ahead and merge these layers together because this is just looking ridiculous. So now that all those layers are merged, here's where the fun really comes in. This is why I like to do texture maps in Photoshop. I'm going to take this section, Control CV, and I'm just going to start placing these in random spots. And you're about to see why I like using this program so much. I mean, Adobe did such a good job when they made this. I'm not going to say like it's the best thing in the world because, you know, it's not. But, you know, it's definitely up there with like macaroni and cheese. Okay, so got all this pixelation. As you can see, I'm just taking this and then I'm going to click on the next one down, same thing, and I'm going to click on the next one down, same thing, click on the next one down, guess what? You guessed it, same thing. And see, one thing I wish Photoshop would change is, like, I wish I could just select all of these like this and be able to do it, but it will not let you do that. And I don't want to merge layers together, because if I do, then I'm actually doing the entire segment, and I don't want to do that either. I'm doing these individually for a reason, because each time I go through this like this, I'm actually getting these just a little bit different. And the real advantage of doing that is when you come back in, let me go ahead and merge all these now. When you come back in and you do this whole step again, as you can see now, I can actually grab a bigger area. But the real advantage is when you're doing it that way, you can actually get, I'm trying to think of the word, it's just a little bit more randomized. In my opinion, I think it looks better. Some of y'all might be like, yo dude, that looks like crap. And I mean, dude, that's your opinion. If you have a way of doing it better, by all means, just make it look as realistic as you can. Especially if you're doing this for, like, a high-end game or something, or your professor wants you to do something that's just, like, out of this world. Have fun with it. Take some time, do your thing, blow your professor away. Because if you can blow your professor away, or your boss, depending on, what the situation is, if you can blow either one of them away, either A, you're going to get an A+, or B, you're going to get a raise, or C, you're going to get, I don't know, compensation for something. I don't know, I'm tired. It's one of the nice things about doing this after you get off work is, like, it's just kind of like so tired that you're just spouting random crap off. And right now I am so tired. I am between the point of, I don't know, homeless guy attacking Russia in the middle of winter, and, I don't know, being just delirious like something. Yeah, see, I can't even think straight. It's a wonder how I'm even able to do this right now. Probably because I've been doing it so long that it just almost comes naturally. That's the only thing I can think of. Some of y'all are probably like, yeah, and you still suck at it. Yeah, you know what? Screw you. I don't mean that. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Don't hate me. So we'll duplicate the layers. And that's all I'm doing right now. I'm just duplicating the layers and just kind of moving them as I go. I'm not really doing anything that's, like, real spectacular here, or anything that's like, oh man, this is the greatest thing ever. Can I get your autograph? I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just trying to get this done, so this way I can end this tutorial video and y'all have an idea on what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So each time I duplicate these layers, I'm sure you've already noticed this, but I don't have to do it that time. But I'm usually having to rotate these, and I'm just trying to follow this contour as close as possible. You don't have to be this exact. I'm actually doing this a little overkill because of how detailed this texture map is. Come on, you can see the microscopic scratches in the metal. This is really overkill. But, once again, impress somebody. It could be your coworker, it could be your boss, it could be your professor, it could be your girlfriend. Just show them what you did. Be like, hey, check this out. Look how real this looks. And, they'll be like, oh my god. And you're just going to be like, yeah, I know, right? It looks real, huh? And you get the idea. Enough said. Alright, let me go ahead and merge all these. Merge layers. I'm going to click on this one. This one's going to be a lot easier because I got this huge area right here to work with. Control C and V. And, yeah, this is going to be a lot quicker. This is going to be so much easier. I wish everything could be this easy, but, that's life. Okay. And I'm going to move that right about there. Move that one probably right about there. So I am going to go back over all of these in just a little bit, same way I did before. Yeah, right about there. Okay, so basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the one on the outside. And I need to click on this right here, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to blend this in. Now, I could spend a little bit more time blending this in. In fact, I think I'm going to, since those are already merged. There we go. Easy. Easy every time. Alright. Click on that just a little bit, not too much. There we go. And then we'll start blending these. Nice thing, because this is a really high resolution texture map, you don't have to go all out insane on this, and this is going to save us a lot of time. There's actually a lot of things I can skip doing this versus like the Sam phone that we did on the actually the very first tutorial lesson I created. So right here where these corners are, I'm just going to brush this down real quickly. And I'm also going to do the same thing on this outside. Just right. You know, along where these little edges are sticking up a little bit. So, it's just something to kind of like tighten up the profile a little bit. Nothing that's like extreme. Let's see, what is this? Oh, that is that layer. Okay, so I can just do that. Here in a minute, you're actually going to see everything just start really coming together. Move this, and move that right about there. And I mean, it's just going to look beautiful. Alright. Some of you are probably going to be watching this like, man, he takes way too long to do this. I wish you'd just like fast forward his videos whenever he does this crap. And that's actually something I might think about doing in the future. Right now, I'm still in the early phases of making tutorial videos, so honestly, I just kind of want to see what everyone thinks about, you know, me showing you these tricks and stuff, and you know, I'm just trying to get like a gauge on all that. I am like really tired already. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to grab another section. The reason why I do this and click on this, because this way it selects the layer I want. I'm going to go ahead and merge all of these. This way it's less crap I gotta deal with. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab it right here. Control C, Y. There we go. Control C, V. Now this one, I'm keeping all these under layer 43, and the reason why, because as you can see, it's actually going underneath. And the advantage of doing that is it's less I have to tweak. But as this one, I'm actually going to blend both the top and bottom before I start moving these into position. And the reason why, because whenever I actually go in here to duplicate layer, when I go in here to duplicate layer, as you can see, almost no matter where I move it, it's going to be blended already. And so that's the purpose of me doing that. So I'm going to select Control C, V. There we go. I don't want this one. I want this one. And the next thing I'm going to do is transform, rotate, meh. There we go. I'm going to move this down somewhere right about there. Enter. So now we got this beautiful monstrosity. And I'm actually going to go up here to layer, and I'm going to lock this layer. Lock layers, I'm going to lock all. There we go. So now I can just Control V. I can put these right here. I can move these anywhere I want. Anywhere in the world, man. Okay, enough messing around. So I'm going to duplicate layer 6. And move that right about there. Duplicate again. This one I'm also going to rotate, edit, transform, rotate, blah. There we go. And apply. We'll unlock this layer. We'll go down here. You know, I realized something. And let me select all of these. Duplicate layers. Okie dokie. Yeah. Move these right, probably right about here. Now, the reason why I just did that, because I don't like the way this looks very much. I'm going to actually smooth this out just a little bit more. Something kind of like this. You're probably thinking this is overkill, and I'm thinking you're probably right. But you know what? Here in just a second, I'm going to select all these, duplicate, okie dokie. Move these up to here. Duplicate. Move these over here. Boom. That looks... doesn't look half bad. There we go. So I'm going to hide that again. Oh, come on. There we go. Duplicate layers. Okie dokie. I am really surprised that this one down here is selected. Let's see. We'll go ahead and duplicate layer. Okie dokie. And again. Okay, so now when we show this layer, that actually does not look half bad. So let's go and see what it looks like from afar. Yeah, see? There you go. And so now we have this nice little round shape, you know, like you would expect where your fist would go around. So I'm actually going to stop the tutorial right here tonight. We'll go into how to change this metal up a little bit. There's several ways we can do that. I'm going to cheat again because I'm actually going to probably stick with one of these two. I'm not sure which one yet. They both just look so beautiful. But the reason why I don't want to use both of them because if I use one or the other, you're going to see it very clearly whenever you're playing the video game. It's like one side's going to have this dark look to it and this one's going to have this bright look to it, and I don't want that. So in the next video, which will be part 4, I believe, I'll explain how I'm going to go about doing that and making the metal, I guess you say diffuse layer start matching. And it's nothing like we did with the handle, but it's going to have very similar principles to it. So I hope to see you then, and thanks for watching. Have a good night.